What up, y'all, and welcome back to TKO, where if it's trending, we're talking about it. So let's get into it. The NBA season just wrapped up, right? Mm-hmm. Warriors lost 3-2. The reason we bring up the Warriors...
Wait, what? What'd you say?
We lost, right?
Oh, I thought you said Ori. I'm sorry.
Well, Ori.
I was like, wait, what?
You lost a couple rounds ago.
Couple rounds?
No. Yeah, you lost. I know that's on your heart, but no, I said the Warriors lost 3-2, right? So, why are you talking about Steph, Ward?
All right. So, Keisha, was some comments made by Kendrick Perkins, and he, should we play the clip?
Let's play the clip.
Let's play the clip.
I want to harp back on the Steph Curry thing just for a little bit. Sure. I feel like we give him a lot of passes. We give him passes after passes after passes. And I feel like it's unfair because any other superstar in the league don't get as many passes as Steph Curry. Steph Curry get pass after pass after pass for not performing. And he never steps up to the big plate. And listen, I know what it is. Listen, I'm not taking nothing from Steph, man. He's gonna go down as an all-time great. But his finals, the way he performed in the finals, I mean, he got to get some kind of, criticism behind it. Because, I mean, what's this, the fifth finals? Yeah. And, he have yet to really show up.
All right. That was a courtesy of Brian Windhorst podcast. Okay. Steph Curry, first of all, let's just say anybody can be criticized, right? Just so off the strength, there is no person probably on planet Earth that is above criticism. We talk about the criticism of Steph Curry, or non-criticism as Kendrick Perkins is putting out. Is that true and valid? Is there some truth to that? And why? Why is that true? If it is so true, why do people give Steph Curry passes? I think there are many factors. I think, first of all, Steph Curry, on TV, he looks like a small guy. He looks like a kid. He is the babyface assassin, right? When you look at, he just looks like a kid, right? So I think he has that, like, I'm this young boy, this young kid out there, and I'm giving it to you. I'm breaking your ankles, I'm making you look stupid, and I'm dropping them bombs on you, right? Boom. You know what I mean? And it gives people hope. It gives kids hopes. Maybe, everybody, like, that the littlest guy in the room can just slay the dragon. So I think Steph Curry relates to just the average person. Like, the average person, like, you know what? I can come in here and I could dominate. And he's changed the game. He has changed the game. People shoot way more because of Steph Curry. Now, some people call him the greatest shooter of all time. I might actually have to disagree, only because I'm going to go old school a little bit. I swear I thought Larry Bird was the greatest shooter I've ever seen. And when I say this, I'm saying this because of the clutch shots, the moment. Larry Bird hit so many great clutch shots. Now, clearly, he does not have the ball handling ability of a Steph Curry. I'm just talking pure shooter. And it's hard for me to say as a Sixer fan because I couldn't stand Larry Bird. Keisha got a funny story for me real quick. Larry Bird made me cry. I'm going to tell you that story.
No.
Yeah, he did. He made me cry when I was a kid.
My husband got his autograph. You want it?
No, hell no. But anyway, yeah, I think Larry Bird was a great shooter. So when we go back to Steph Curry, I think that's part of it. Another part of it is, let's keep it real, Keisha. There's this thing called colorism.
Yes, there's in the African American community.
Yes, it is.
And I think what a lot of they call it Black Twitter. So what Black Twitter is harping on is that
Black Twitter has an opinion on this.
Kendrick Perkins' comments are rooted more in the fact that Steph Curry is light-skinned than his actual basketball ability.
Okay.
And I could see some validity to that only because further in his comments, Kendrick Perkins says when he talks about the people who are criticized, he names LeBron James, KD, Westbrook, who are all fairly darker than Steph Curry.
Westbrook's a little lighter.
He's a little lighter, but he's still in the little light brown hue.
Light brown, yeah.
Whereas
Steph Curry
is what we like to call high yellow. So I think that's what a lot of people, it's two sides of it. the people who agree with Kendrick Perkins do feel that some of this is based on Steph Curry's complexion, and people who disagree with him feel that his comments are just because he's an old man hating, and Steph got on him in those last finals where they beat the Cavaliers, so now he's on a I hate Steph Curry tour.
Right.
There's some validity to it as I'm speaking to you as a lighter complected African American
light skin Keisha, the rapper, light skin Keisha.
So I see it from both ends. Steph Curry is paraded around more. His family is highlighted more.
Considered the first family basketball.
Which it blows my mind because LeBron James is just as much as a family guy. If you look at his social media.
But he's the first generation of it. You know what I'm saying? So
right, I understand.
Steph's father, Del Curry, you know what I'm saying? That's right. And Del Curry is a commentator for Charlotte.
He was a good player. Was good.
Yeah, he was a good player.
He was good, but they weren't like nobody.
But he could shoot then.
But nobody. Yeah, he was a pure shooter. But nobody cared about the Curry family when Del Curry was in NBA.
No, well, of course they didn't care. But obviously, when his sons got into the league, and then his son started winning championships.
I would say Del Curry is probably the only player of that generation whose son is now playing successfully in the NBA. I mean, you have Doc Rivers, but Austin Rivers isn't.
Oh, Jelly Bean Bryant. Why? What, Kobe? Come on, Mamba.
He's not in the game anymore.
I see what you're saying.
But I'm saying his father. More of a star overseas.
I mean, he played with the Sixers. You know what I mean? Like he was on that Sixers, 70s.
He got big overseas, though.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, people knew him. I mean, first of all, probably in the NBA. I guess. Well, I don't know. I'm going to say something, but I don't know if it's necessarily true. I was going to say that I guess there are a lot of father-son combinations where you have success and success. Normally, the father is pretty successful, and then the son is, elevated and been even more successful. Not sure with the other sports. Obviously, the Manning's brothers. Archie Manning was a good quarterback. He just played for a terrible team, and his son Peyton and Eli took it to the next level. But yeah, they're the first. They're the first family of basketball, the Currys.
And I wouldn't give them that title. I look at LeBron and his family way more.
Well, his son got to make it, right, for them to be the first family, for to be second, to overtake it.
Going to make it.
Oh, he's gonna make it.
Gonna make it. Anyway, so getting back to this light skin, dark skin thing. It's a deep-rooted argument in the African American community. I kind of think it's an immature way at this point in society, at this time in society, for us to kind of focus on those things, which can only bring more division. I mean, we have bigger fish to fry. But I do think it's easier. People are more comfortable with stuff, like you said. Yeah. He has that baby face. They come up there, him, the wife, and the kids with those light eyes that you can just stare into. People like his mom for different reasons. She's cute.
Wait, yes.
It's because
good-looking people,
they're a pretty family.
That's what I'm about to say. But so to me, good-looking people always get away. I'm just say get away with stuff. Good-looking people are always favorably looked upon. If you're a good-looking person, you're going to have advantages. You know what I mean? So Steph Curry, I'm sure. Which here's the thing though. The people who don't make the criticism of Steph Curry, are they really interested in his looks, though? I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think it's more of the, he's young. He seems like a nice person. You know what I mean? And he's a killer.
To your point, looks can be they can disarm you. So people don't want to criticize him.
Okay.
But the question is the criticism deserved? And as a professional athlete, it is. I mean, if you consider he shoots the last 3 games, he shot 20-something% in the 3-point.
Yeah, but we know that was different, right?
But apparently that's his thing in the finals. He doesn't show up in the finals, and maybe
he dropped
it can
47
be
in game 4, though, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't think it. I don't see it. I think Steph Curry is big time. I saw a bogus stat about something like he's never hit
a clutch shot.
A clutch shot with 20 seconds or below. Okay.
Well, isn't that why they criticize LeBron, though? Isn't that one of the arguments against LeBron when you compare him to Jordan? He's not a clutch shooter.
Yeah, which we know is not true. So here's my thing. So if Steph Curry actually hit the shot at 22 seconds, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think people let me find a way. Yeah, let me. So to me, that stat is irrelevant. He has 3 rings. Now, I love Iggy. I'm an Iggy fan from Philly. You know what I mean? But I think, he got Finals MVP. Steph probably should have got Finals MVP, which, from my understanding, doesn't really mean anything. It's like 10 people that vote. So who knows how much weight that really carries? But it goes down in history. That's the only thing about it. But yes, but to a degree, I think you are absolutely correct. That maybe the looks and the advantages of someone, having being of lighter skin, like you said, disarms. Funny is that me and my wife were watching Queen Sugar the other day, and you watch Queen Sugar, right?
Yes, and for those of you who don't know, Queen Sugar is a show on Oprah's network own. It's based on a book. I forget who the author is, but it's basically a show about a family who's come together after the death of their father to run his farm, and their 3 siblings who weren't the closest before their father's death, and he has 1 child out of, was he married? Anyway, she's half white, and the other 2 have the same mother and father. So she's lighter than the other
Charlie,
2.
the character Charlie. Yes,
is lighter than Nova and
Ralph Angel. Right. Show also created by Ava DuVernay and DuVernay. Hopefully, I pronounced that correctly. Shout out to the directors. Gotta give a shout out to the directors out there. Go ahead, Ava. She's doing her thing. But in that episode, that hopefully, spoiler alert. If you have not watched this episode yet, you might want to just fast forward through this part real quick. But, Charlie was hurt by her sister's portrayal of her in her book that she's promoting. And she said some things that talked about the advantages, or how Charlie was able to use her lighter skin to, in a sense, get over, hurt people, help her husband out when, things that he did was wrong, hurt other women, and that Charlie has had advantages, she has had privilege, so maybe people feel that's in a sort of kind of way about Steph Curry, like, his mom is fine, his dad played ball, his wife, look at all the advantages his wife is getting. His wife can say all these things and whatnot, you know what I mean? So maybe there is, I don't know if jealousy is a correct word, but maybe there is fair criticism that Steph Curry gets passes partly because he's light-skinned. Is that true?
Well, we can't help. First of all, we're in America, where skin tone has shown historically to have its privileges.
Sure.
Unfortunately, that privilege has bled over into the African American community, where there are multiple shades of black people.
Absolutely.
And from that history of slavery, there is now this thing of this disease, this cancer of colorism in our culture. And whether or not it's valid, the fact is, there's arguments on both sides. Both sides are hurt in one way or the other, and both sides feel that the other has an advantage that they don't recognize for the other. So, does lighter skin come with privilege? Obviously it does, because in slavery there was the house Negro, then there was the field Negro. The house Negro was lighter, so that's privilege, that's an advantage. But they were both slaves. But because we were separated, we could not feel for one another. There was no empathy. There was a hate for one another because of the division that the color of your skin created. Does that bleed into sports? Yeah, it makes having lighter skin can make certain people more comfortable around you.
Yeah.
Having darker skin can make you come off more threatening. Is that our fault? It is no more the light-skinned person's fault that the world offers them privilege than it is the brown skin or darker skinned person's fault that the world attacks them.
Well,
so as a light skinned person,
yes,
Have there been times where I felt like people felt more comfortable around me? Yes. Do I ask for that? No. Do I still ultimately know I'm a black woman in America? Yes. So how much privilege? Not much, but it's enough that it creates division. And I think that's the deeper issue, you know.
Sure.
The world has created this dynamic.
Right.
It's up if we start ignoring that and kind of realize that, you know, it's really just melanin.
Yeah,
You
no
know,
doubt.
what
no
can
doubt.
you do about it?
Right.
But I can't control how other people view me. It becomes an issue if I know about that privilege and I use it to my advantage to hurt other people, which is what Nova thinks Charlie did in Queen Sugar, which is how Kendrick Perkins views Steph Curry. I think his criticism is because he thinks Steph Curry is knowingly, you know, using his light skin to, you know, parade around the NBA as a first family, that he can get his wife these television shows and have his kid up on at the press conference table snatching a mic, and it's cute. Where maybe if it was LeBron's daughter, people like, get that little bad girl off the stage. You know what I mean? So, you know, you can't control how the world sees it.
That's true. And it's funny that you talk about the world. Me and my wife, we went to the Dominican, and I don't know if you know, I don't know if I told you this, we stayed at the Majestic, the same place where the ladies said.
Oh, really?
We stayed, and I believe we were there the same week it happened.
Wow.
So, but we noticed certain things. We noticed that certain people of certain hue and color had certain, how can I say, positions around the resort. You know what I mean? Like, some of the lighter people were like hostess and things like that.
Positions, whereas all
so the starker people were in the back and things like that. Yes. And we were like, wow. And we go to the airport, leaving. One of the people from the Dominican, you know, they'll come and get your bags. Well, it was my wife and myself, and then there was an older white man and an older white woman. He went to the white people and didn't come to us to get our bags or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I was thinking that he was probably thinking like, oh, they're not going to give me any money. They're not going to give me any tips or things like that. I don't know if this is true, but this is how it made me feel. And I even asked my wife that. She's like, yeah, that was kind of strange, you know.
Well, I think that's facts. Because if my husband is not too much darker than me, so we're both considered light-skinned. But if we're among white people, we know that, you know, they get the preferential treatment as opposed to us. But then if it's me with a brown-skinned person, then most people are going to assume I'm going to get the preferential treatment. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to sit here and say, cry me a river, because, you know, I'm light-skinned. But the fact is, we're all black.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's a disadvantage when I'm amongst black people. There's a lot of times I'm the lightest person in the room. I can feel like I'm not black enough. When I'm amongst white people, I know I'm lighter, but I'm not light enough. You know, so you know, it can go either way. But I'm back on that Steph Curry stuff. So are the criticism valid? Yeah, but I think a lot of people are getting into, you know, what's the first thing you see? You see Kendrick Perkins, a darker skinned person, criticizing a lighter skinned person. So that's the easy thing to jump on. But the fact is, Steph doesn't always show up. He's a good shooter. He's a great shooter.
He's a great shooter.
Let's remember he went to Davidson, okay?
What does that mean? His brother went to Duke. That don't mean nothing. So his brother went to Duke and he's nowhere.
He went to Davidson for a reason. I still don't think Steph Curry's a complete player. So, you know, he's a good shooter.
He's a great shooter.
He's a great shooter.
Yes. So there you have it. Be hollering at you soon for another hot podcast. Peace.